If you run a solo business, getting noticed is half the battle. That's the exact challenge Denise Wakeman tackles every day at your visibility edge. A colleague recently shared a frustrating reality with Denise. People in her specific niche find marketing exhausting. Most of the content they send out comes straight from vendors, which means it all sounds identical and lacks the sender's actual personality. You could take that generic text and manually rewrite it every single time. But when you are running a business by yourself, adding another repetitive manual chore to your daily checklist is rarely a sustainable strategy. The ideal solution would be a custom tool built for this one specific task. But traditionally, that's been the most difficult path possible, requiring a dedicated developer or a massive time investment to learn a language like Python. Denise decided to test a different path. She set out to build her own custom web application from scratch, running on her local computer, using only AI to write the code. She does not have a development background, yet she's proving that coding knowledge is no longer the gatekeeper to building software. The development process started with a rambling mess. Denise opened a voice AI tool called Whisperflow and talked out her software idea exactly as it was in her head, without structure or cleanup. Instead of generating a massive, complicated codebase right out of the gate, the AI pushed back. It asked her to narrow her focus and solve one single problem, rather than trying to build a comprehensive marketing suite all at once. This diagram shows what happens when we brainstorm. We start with a tangled cluster of potential features. In software development, the goal is to find the minimum viable product, or MVP, identifying the absolute simplest version of an idea you can actually use. Every time Denise thought about adding a bell or whistle to her app, she pulled the idea back and actively cut away the excess until she hit that bare minimum. The app's logic shrank to a tight, linear workflow. You paste the vendor content, you describe the specific tone you want, and you click a button. And what you get back is a functional draft email that actually sounds like you. There is no login screen. There are no saved user databases. No extra features yet. Shrinking an idea to its smallest useful version is how you move from feeling overwhelmed to actually creating functional software. This diagram shows the three core pieces of a modern web application: the interface you click on, the brains processing the data behind the scenes, and the bridge connecting the two. Denise didn't sit down and study how these pieces worked before starting. She used ChatGPT and Claude as interactive guides, learning only what was required for her immediate next step, applying the code and moving on. She got the interface built and the backend generating emails, but then the pieces refused to talk to each other. She hit a CORS error, cross-origin resource sharing. It's a browser security feature that stops malicious scripts, but it also means your front-end and back-end are blocked from communicating. When the build broke, she didn't search for a manual. She simply copied the raw error code, pasted it back into the AI, and asked what it meant. When she couldn't solve it immediately, she closed her laptop and moved on to other projects for the day. Hitting a technical wall and stepping away is a standard part of the process. It doesn't mean the project failed. It's just the natural rhythm of an iterative, just-in-time build cycle. The biggest challenge in this experiment had nothing to do with code. It was the psychological adjustment of moving forward without fully understanding every detail of the process. You no longer have to act as the programmer. Instead, you act as the product manager, directing the project while an AI acts as your technical translator. Now that Denise has the core pieces working, her next phase is to show it to real people. She needs to watch where they hesitate and what makes sense to them, letting those observations shape what happens next. Watching a non-developer spin up a custom tool in a weekend makes a strong case for a different approach. It shows that we're no longer stuck trying to force our business into the limits of whatever pre-packaged software happens to be available. If you want to try this, open an AI chat today. Type in a rough idea for a tool and explicitly tell the AI, "Help me turn this into the smallest version I can test, and ask me questions to clarify it." Denise and her colleague Ellen Britt are putting together a small beta group to teach this exact process, showing people how to build their own AI-powered tools completely from scratch. The power to build software is shifting. It no longer requires years of computer science, just the willingness to start with a tiny idea and take